That's the big story on the front page of the Ghanaian Times this morning. The belief is that from the IFS is that it will ensure an active state intervention to transform the sector. Court discharges businessman accused in the Ahmed Swale murder trial. So that story is also part of the focus for the Ghanaian Times this morning. Influenza outbreak. The Ghana Health Service is calling for vigilance to curb spread of the influenza. Minority leader is advocating now for the inclusion of legally binding CSR clauses in contracts because he believes that's a crucial aspect that we ought to pay attention to. And men must take interest in breast cancer education to help combat the disease. Some of the stories you'd find when you grab a copy of the Ghanaian Times newspaper this morning.
All right, so the daily guide for this morning says minority raises red flag over 80 telecell merger. That the Lumba kids not into widows fight, and so the children have indicated that they are not part of the suit. NPP flag bearer race candidates in fierce battle. Comes with the photographs of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia Kennedy Japan, Dr. Yawase Duchum, Dr. Brian Champong, and Kwabena Japan Esquire. Drapper Dubai CEO's murder. Elisha Mahama gets life in prison is also on the front page of the Daily Guide.
Okay, the Insight newspaper. Alan unveils new party today. In a historic new dawn for the movement for change. We are all on the lookout for that because obviously it was something bound to happen, given the way he split with a new patriotic party. So now
he's unveiling a new party.
Yes,
so the
initially
movement for change
movement.
is going to become a party
officially.
Okay.
That's how it's looking like. I'm not sure if they'll still use their Afro-Front or probably get a new logo. Because if you listen to his inaugural speech at the time the movement for change was being launched, he said if you look at the Afro-Front, it starts as a worm, is it, or a bag? I don't know how it starts.
Like a worm, yes.
Like a worm, yeah. And then it develops into this beautiful butterfly. Now maybe it's becoming a bird or something bigger than that. You never know.
Well,
you never know what they will transform into.
I don't have a chance to advise him, so but if I had a chance to advise him, I'd say don't do it.
Well, probably for the
do
bargaining.
what instead?
Well,
Relax.
I feel he
Relax. Just basically
That's
give up.
it.
no, but I feel that he would have a bigger bargaining chip. Probably that's what he wants to do. So in the event the NPP wants to reintegrate, there'll be something
Some
bigger
very
on the
big
table for him.
names
Yeah.
from the NPP joined him.
That's what I was saying.
Well, you see,
Nano Hininto, Yawbabe Samoa. Some really
Yeah,
Look,
good names.
let me just make this point. I always like to rely on the trends to make a case. Papa Kwesi Ndum.
Oh, by you.
Now, he left the CPP and formed the PPP. Yes, at the time, he did better than the CPP in that election. But he didn't do well. He did better in the next election, but still was poor. Now, people liked Papa Kwesi Ndum and his programs and policies. But that was not enough for Papa Kwesi Ndum to actually, shake the political landscape in this country.
Yeah.
Maybe he shook it with ideas, but those ideas did not translate into votes. Because, see, there's something we say in Ghana, "Koto abaye bekain." You know what that means, Blessed?
You'd have
They
to
say that if you do, it's either you vote for MPP or NDC, otherwise, you see, we will not count. When they say you vote in a way that it counts,
sort of like let my vote count.
you let your vote, lead to, whoever wins the elections.
But
I
I was saying for Alan now and looking at his age, the dynamics going into the next elections, what will be of priority to him might probably not be winning the ultimate election.
It will be to do what?
It will be to have a voice. You recall going into the last elections, Joy
Alan would always have a voice.
Joy Research put out a research pointing out
If
that
he does
has-
what you say
that
and
he has a
relaxes.
I was just going to land on this. That Joy Research did that dynamics in the lead up to the last elections, where they were saying that Alan has a great influence in the Ashanti region, and that each time he ruffles feathers within the party, ahead of any elections. The Ashanti votes do not really go well for the NPP. And we saw that happening probably in the last elections. So probably the focus for the movement for change, I don't know if that will still be the name or the new political party he will form, might be to have, the bargaining power to say, look, we have a constituency that matters to the NPP. Probably you should be joining hands with us. And then we get to give you our attempts. But anyway, we wait to see what will happen later today. Galamsey crisis. Brian Achampong calls for a 90-day mining pause amid EPA warnings. That's also the story on the front page of the Inside News paper. Cooperative movement takes center stage as Africa converges in Ghana for the 25th SACA conference. So these are some of the stories that you'd find, including the concerns over the minority chasing Communications Minister Sam George again over alleged rejection of some Rectron $1 billion lifeline for AT.
Okay. Well, let's get to the daily graphic for this morning. The big stories. Health alert, influenza cases on the rise. Ghana Health Service asks public to be cautious. UBA Ghana records strong performance in Q3. Ghana World Bank deepen ties to support 5 key sectors. Rice sector can swell by 2,600%. Unlock growth with strategic investment. That's IFS study. It's not like we do not know. Backpage, Hefra shuts down 18 health facilities in the Ashanti region. And panelists advocate enhanced pension system for health workers. Okay, which means we can go online now.
Okay, myjoyonline.com here, talking about the zero tariff deal. Looks like a lot of experts have been waiting in. Professor Bobkin says China needs zero tariff deal more than Ghana. So pointing to what we were raising yesterday, concerns about whether or not we can produce too much, what China would also be taking advantage of. So yeah, that's a concern of Professor Bobkin. Then there's the talk also about the National Service Authority extending registration deadline for 2025-2026 enrollment. The process had to be renewed all over again. Looks like that's informing or influencing this decision by the NSA board. Ghana's debt to GDP ratio to hit 59% by end of 2025. At least we did the threshold for the IMF. We've not gone past the 70% ratio now, but that's quite a high one we ought to deal with. And then 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz is here again. And Ogasco very poto.
Let me say good morning to
no comments. Could you?
I'm glad you've started. I'm glad you started from there.
Could you answer no comments?
I am glad you have started from there.
Let me say,
so that when I begin, it is justified.
My brother,
okay.
Let me say,
all right.
Let me say good morning to my friend Kosi Dagbe of I Garage.
I see.
He has offered all old Maulians free
again.
diagnostics.
Here we go again.
As a build-up to the Congress from the 20th to the 26th of October.
But why is Mauli silent over NSMQ?
Why is your school? Which school is it again?
My school is a college. It's called Bishop Herman College, the best school in West Africa.
Last NSMQ, how did your best school do?
We outperformed Ogasco.
Are you awake? That has never and will never happen.
My views
on this planet.
My views about NSMQ. So I'm not going to go into that.
If your school was in the competition, you would have different views. Your school is not in the contest, so that's why you don't have views on it.
Okay. Since you are not aware, my school is in the contest. Now you can move on.
When I say in the competition, you know what I mean. Not in the contest.
What is in the competition? What do you mean by competition? Excuse me.
Those boys are anniversary this weekend.
No. I'm not going to score the anniversary, but I'm going to ask him a question. Why? The last, who won?
Isn't it those are Kotokraba SHS?
Which school won?
Kotokraba SHS.
That's all that matters. That's all.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Anyway,
no. You if you don't come and say, we were, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the winner is what matters. That's it.
After 75
you
years,
did not win. So that's
Mauli School could not grab the National Science and Maths Quiz.
Who knows?
After all, we enjoy this weekend, so don't worry.
Who knows? Who knows? This could be a year.
How old is Bishop Herman?
We're under 75.
You're 73.
Yeah, we're 73. We're 2 years below. Mali,
and in 73 years, how many times have
Oh,
you won
I
it?
mean, we've been.
Why
we've
am
been
I
there.
debating
We've
these
been
two?
there. We've
Why?
been there.
Why am I debating
No,
these
no,
two?
no.
Let's move on.
Anyway,
what else is online?
Online. Okay, online. Let's move online. We're still online anyway.
Yes, we
Okay,
are.
let's go to Business and Financial Times. But by the way, we ought to indicate to you that the National Science and Maths Quiz would be on all of our platforms. So we'll be giving you all of the updates here on Joy 99.7 FM, on Joy News. You catch all of the action wherever you go online on our socials as well. And by then, Winston would have been done with the anniversary, so we can properly situate Mali within the table of girls or men. Anyway, all of this will not deny us, Kojo, of the fun that will be happening this weekend for Mali School. I've seen DJ Wubeti on a flyer.
Charlie?
Hey!
The way he has started rehearsing.
My goodness.
The way he has started rehearsing. These days, when you give him something, he says, Akpe. He's
DJ
getting
Wubeti.
ready. He's getting ready for the
no.
Maoli crowd.
Winston and Maulians, you are giving us too much trouble. Okay, now let's go to the Business and Financial Times. Less than 3% of farmlands devoted to rice production. That's the call from IFS as well. And Ghana World Bank align on 5-pillar growth blueprint. So it looks like the IMF, the World Bank actually, and the Ghanaian government are working out something. The controversial issue about this 1 billion Rectron investment regarding 80, it's a big concern for the minority. The minority is in fact warning Telecel as well, cautioning them against, proceeding with the agreement. Looks like the Communications Minister, Sam George, would have to provide a few more answers to some of the concerns being raised. He says he's trying to save 80 at this point. But the minority believes that, there's someone, an investor, that could give a lifeline of $1 billion. So let's see how all of that will play out. But of course, we are awaiting any further statements from the Communications Ministry on this. Goldbord's model seen as Africa's next policy export. There's been a lot of touting of the Gold Board since the annual meetings of the
We're going to export
IMF.
the policy to who?
It looks like a lot of countries might want to learn that, format. It's quite novel, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, because across Africa, you look at countries like DRC, South Africa, which is just under us in terms of gold production. I don't believe they have a setup directly comparable to the Gold Board. I don't know if you've heard of anything like that.
I haven't.
I haven't. Yeah, so probably that's what the plan is now. CD at 60, Bank of Ghana moves to rebuild the currency. And speaking about the currency, it's I say Apeke and I say
Epic.
Epic.
I was telling Daryl this morning that I see a trend. When we're ready for an IMF review,
Yes.
we allow the city to go on. You don't find a lot of intervention. Then when the IMF meetings are over,
Then we go back.
Yeah, we go back
To
to our
reset.
shenanigans,
and
intervene a little bit.
wranglings.
Because the city has also become a political thing.
Yeah, as well.
And the city's depreciation or appreciation is actually a mark of how well you're doing.
Yeah.
You will see governments intervening. You see the central bank trying to intervene.
Yeah.
If it
Just
can,
to make it look good.
if it can, it would intervene. But I am also sure that there are certain people who have a concern or two. So the central bank may not intervene fully.
Yeah.
It may intervene, and that's why you've heard the conversation about between 10 to 12.
Yeah.
But if the city's real value
Yeah.
is below 10, let's see it.
In fact, I was just
But it's not.
interacting with
The city's real value
yeah.
is not below 10.
I was interacting with the commercial driver. Was it just yesterday? And he was like, "We hear the city's, coming down a bit. Why is that not reflecting on fuel prices?"
It does.
And,
It does.
yeah.
It does.
is- it
It
is
reflects
actually, yeah.
actually.
So I told him it probably would take some time.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Please report
City newsroom
again.
here also. Probably we should just jump into that. There's a talk about nurses, right? Ghana could face 180,000 unemployed health professionals by 2028. That's according to the sector minister. And as for the nurses and health professionals, we have to start exporting some of them.
look,
Omwebuye so
look. Why in God's name? I look. We have a lot of nurses picketing all the time, waiting to be employed.
Yes.
Why do we pay them allowances?
Why not?
Why?
It's
Why?
politics now.
No,
isn't it?
no. You see, must we always reduce everything to politics in this country? Must we always? Is that what we always should do? In the past, we realized we needed more nurses, we needed more teachers. So, as a way of incentivizing, my father, for instance, went to teacher training college. At the time, after Form 4, he went to training college. It was good. You had your paid allowance, which took care of him until he came out, went to teach before he went to the university.
Yeah.
Today, do we lack teachers? These people are picketing all the time. They're asking you, employers, we don't want to employ them.
Yeah.
So what's the problem? Let the government decide. If you're done with your nursing, I won't pay any allowance to you. If you need scholarship proof that you indeed deserve the scholarship you're giving, you move ahead. If you're done and there's space for you, why not? You'll be employed. Let everybody who qualifies apply. Then, I mean, they're picked. Then those who do not get employment, if they want to go outside the country, because we have decided that's the number that we need in this country, why should those people be prevented from going outside this country?
So I'm looking at it as a politician right now.
Come again.
Look at the numbers. 180,000. That's a lot of
My brother, we have
capital. If
our,
they
our
willed it
nurse
against
to, our
you,
nurse to patient ratio is
way overboard.
Is better than
Yes. Yes, I agree.
what the World Health Organization prescribes.
Yes, that's
so.
true.
What's our
That's
problem?
Look. The problem with Ghana is that
Yes.
we can't decide whether we are communists or capitalists.
or socialists.
I mean,
Whichever
socialists.
way.
We can't decide,
Yeah.
right? We think, okay, sometimes government should provide everything. Some government should be your mother.
Yes.
Other times we say fend for yourself. We just don't know when to do what, and it's always being decided by politics. It's always being decided by whether we fight crime or not is decided by politics.
Partisan politics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why are we paying for something we don't need? We are a poor country. Why are we paying for something we don't need? We clearly don't need these nurses. We clearly don't.
Kojo Yankson.
Why are we
You
paying?
can imagine the trainees listening to you right now.
Let's be real.
And
the
how they're
trainees
feeling.
themselves are aware. They are aware. If we needed them, we would be recruiting them. Clearly, we don't. It's not that a nurse is useless. No. That is a valuable skill.
Right.
That is an important profession. But we can't employ anymore. That is the truth. So why are we paying for what we don't need? Why?
Anyway, let's move on. I mean, let's get to the Daily Guide. There's this story, Kojo, because the Wa High Court,
Yes.
Justice Abdul Yusuf Asibe has sentenced Elisha Mahama to life imprisonment in connection with the murder of Eric Johnson, the chief executive officer of Cozy Hills Hotel, known as Drapa Dubai in Drapa in the Upper West region. The judge gave an opportunity to the 7-member jury to go into chambers and deliberate on the issue. After about 30 minutes, they came back to the courtroom with a 7-0 unanimous verdict that Elisha Mahama was guilty. They, however, unanimously came with a verdict that the two accused persons, Belinda Miller and Kweku Kakumbata, were not guilty and thus acquitted them. The judge then sentenced Elisha Mahama to life imprisonment for the murder of Eric Johnson.
Do we remember? I can't seem to recall who Elisha Mahama was in the drama of it all. Was he a worker there, or I can't seem to recall who he was originally.
I recall he was immediately picked up after the incident happened. But I'm not sure he used to work there. Is it?
Well, he was actually a worker there.
A worker there.
He was a worker there.
Right.
Yeah. So Elisha Mahama was a worker there, and he was picked up after the death. I think he had actually he was picked up in Takrady.
Okay.
He had run to Takrady,
Yeah.
where he was picked up,
Yeah.
and then brought to WA for the trial.
Yeah.
And
That's when.
his lawyer says they're going to appeal
Yeah.
against the judgment.
In fact,
So-
I've seen that funny video of his lawyer telling Rafiq Salam and Co that you guys say I was crying in court. I wasn't. So you have to apologize to me. I was only emotional, he says, but quite a sad one. And kudos to the Ghana Police Service for picking him up fast. Minorities also chasing the communications minister over alleged rejection of Rectron's 1 billion lifeline for 80, and the minority in parliament is raising concerns about that. They believe that while stakeholders are still waiting, there's a need for the minister to come out clear on that.